Martin's Test Shaves. It's Monday. It's a bank holiday Monday in the UK, which means, of course, the weather is grey, cold and miserable. I've just had a little splash about on my face with reasonably warm water and flannel before commencing a bit of a different shave. First things first, I'm going to give one more test to this totally awful little boar bristle brush, but I'm going to use it on one of the best soaps I know. Now, this soap was the first one sent to me by our dear friend Eric, the Cajun Blade, and this one is my favourite. It is the very first one, as I say, and it's a really, really good one. It's a deer tallow on a sandalwood base, and it's got a wonderful aroma. I actually leave the top of it so it can sort of permeate throughout the bathroom. Anyway, that's all I've got left. So I'm going to try and insult it, sorry Eric, by using this ghastly little boar bristle brush. It's stabby sharp, as most of these piggy bristle things are. It's all right when you put it in hot water, I suppose, but it just doesn't lather up particularly well either. So why don't you get a slightly stabby face? And the other thing is, because it just doesn't lather. However, oh my goodness me, that is really, really nice. I've got to say, guys, if you really want custom shaving, sandalwood base on any of Eric's is truly wonderful. So I'm going to splash this on before going on the far more interesting test today. I was looking through my rather extensive collection of filarmonica razors, and I rediscovered one which I sort of sidelined because it wasn't very good. So I did an experiment just now to see whether or not I could prove it. By the way, this is absolute pommy poo. This is never going to be used again. However, let's go back to a proper brush. Just look at this wretched excuse for a lather. And now we're going to use a proper brush, which of course is a yucky synthetic. And let's see how that lathers up in comparison. Anyway, getting back to the rather wonderful test I'm about to do. Yeah, let me show you with one hand, if I may, the case for this particular rather obnoxious filarmonica. Now, this case, as you can see, it's a filarmonica and it's a Sello Oro 13, one of the very, very last made. And it's so late, it doesn't even have the address on the tang, it only has the etching. So I've got a feeling this was either a Pakistani copy, which I rather doubt because the scales and everything else on it and the grind is correct, absolutely correct. But let me just show you briefly. This is the beast. It's a round nose. As you can see, it's absolutely mint. It's got the full filarmonica logo on it. Filarmonica, double temple. It's got the late plastic grip with the very clear filarmonica lyre on it. The grind is extremely nice, slightly deeper, slightly thicker on the spine, but then I'm used to 14s, not 13s. But anyway, it wouldn't pass the hanging hair test. So I did a very unusual thing. Instead of putting it back to the stones, which is a bit of a last resort, what I did was I used this very nice paddle strop. And the paddle strop has diamond paste on one side and it has the white French paste on the other. If you do it hard enough, and this was what have we got here? Yeah, it's a leopard poly diamond 0.5. So this is quite a good way of bringing up an edge which isn't quite right without having to put it back to the stones. I don't like using the stones unless I have to. So I had originally attempted to put a decent edge on this little filly and wasn't very happy with it, but it now hanging hair tests to perfection because I also stropped it good and hard, and I stropped it finally on our old friend the green chromium dioxide, and that with a nice canvas back. So that saved it I also, in all fairness, gave it a few laps on my ultimate, which is, I'm not going to show you, which is, here it is, actually I will show you. This is the famous top quality Kaneyama. This is the 3000, Kaneyama 3000, which is quite well used, but does give that final brilliance to an edge. So, but I'm going to test it against a really, really top-end razor as a comparison. Now this is a true classic Filharmonica. Now this is a Filharmonica 14. It's got the curved address. It's got the double temple Jose Montserrat Pau 14 on it, and how about that? It's got the full inlay, which is absolutely gorgeous with the little birds singing in the bushes. This one is priceless, and it comes in an absolutely perfect early case. That is the mark of a very early Filharmonica. So that's a Filharmonica 14, obviously square nose. And it's going to be going up against this incredibly late, rather doubtful, round nose Filharmonica 13. These aren't a lot of money. I didn't pay very much for it, and even the case is a little bit substandard, but I reckon it's one of the very last made. So let's just give a little last dab with Eric's wonderful perfumed pomade. This is actually wonderful stuff. Let's bring a little bit more up. Look at that for a lather. It's slick, which is how I like it, without being ridiculously slick, and also without being too full. I don't believe in big frothy lathers. However, each to their own. Right, that's that. That's that. Let's try this now tested, HHT tested, Filharmonica 13 Sello Oro. Well, this is very heavy, at least 4 day stubble. So this is a bit of a harsh test. It's dragging. Yeah, it's definitely dragging. No, don't like it. So now let's try the top one and see if it makes any difference. So you can't always tell that an HHT will give you a good shave. Oh my God. Well, that proves it. Yep. Now this early 14 is a totally different beast. Yeah, no drag at all. No hesitancy. Very crisp. And this is on very thick stubble, so that's the case proven. If you want to spend your money, get yourself an early filly. Yeah, they deserve their reputation. So we're talking about a very unprofessionally lathered up face. Yeah. And I haven't used this in months and months and months and months. So I just lightly stropped it. Literally about 10 strokes. Whereas the 13 I've just tried, I shot the living bejesus out of it, and unfortunately it really didn't pay. I mean, compared with some rays, it's adequate. But this is a harsh test. My ancient stubble is getting wirier by the minute. I don't know why. But yeah, that's just to prove it. Yeah. That's done a really, really good job. However, this aroma, this is really nice. Honeysuckle, or is it? Let me just check again. Sandlewood. Sorry, it's too early in the morning, I'm getting confused. Let's go back over that area again with a proper razor. Yeah. Yeah, it's I think I'm going to give up on doing long days without shaving. Last shave I had was rather poor apology for a straight razor, which isn't of course a straight razor. This is what I would call a poor excuse for a straight razor. It's a feather, but it's got a brand new blade in it, and it still didn't do any good. I hope this. I hope you can hear this. That's beyond crisp. So I was getting into bad habits using inferior chevettes. Yeah, invest in a good razor. Oh, that's just scything. Yeah, that's lovely. I'll give one more pass on the Filly13. I'm not happy. It's chalk and cheese. I mean, I'm responsible for honing them both, so it's a good proof though. Now normally a late filly, in its normal filly case, is extremely good. But the very last ones is a gamble. Price wise, this one's about 5 times the expense, so you get what you pay for in life. Let me just put this down and try the rather horrible, even the case is nasty. It's not a nice case. Shows they were slipping towards the end. But of course, in the filarmonica story, the old man, Signor Powell, he kept going till very late in life, and then when the new laws in Spain came out insisting that they use disposable blades, the market dropped, obviously. Straight razors are traditionally for men, and of course we've lost that. So what happened then was his son, and then later his daughter, in the final wrappings up of the company, took over, and yeah, you get a mixed quality then. So this one is probably, I don't know, early 1980s, maybe even mid 1980s before they finally packed up. Now on already tackled stubble, it's very good. But when it came to coping with heavy stubble, no. Would I still shave with this? Yes, but not after 4 or 5 days of stubble, I wouldn't. Anyway, I'm not going to keep you much longer. It's a bank holiday Monday. The weather is but I'm going to go out and do some slinging. I've just done a few press ups and a little bit of ab work. I've been suffering from having a long English winter and spring, and I just get fat. Yeah. I've got to say, Eric's not only makes a beautiful scented lather, but it's kind. Now, some chemically based lathers aren't that kind. I rather like Cella, that's a good lather, it's kind. But it hasn't got the aroma of Eric's. but you can't get deer tallow every day. I imagine he goes out and strangles or shoots or whatever the deer. I'm really enjoying this last final part of the shave. This is coming into its own now. It just can't cope with heavy stubble. Isn't that strange? So there it is, a very late Filly13. Last of the filarmonicas. Round nose, which was struggling. However, although it was struggling, I still put it up against pretty much any other razor. Yeah, this is still a keeper because it's mint. As you can see, I got it from some guy in England actually, on eBay. It wasn't hugely expensive, but then it wasn't huge quality. And I did put originally I put a 20k edge on it, and it wasn't very happy. Now this beauty, this Filly early Series 1 Filly14. Oh my God. Yeah. Unbelievable. Yeah, vintage and perfect. Well, that's about it, guys. I hope you don't mind my rambling too much. I think I'm going to call that a day, as far as this shave's concerned. So I would say, if you do have a late filarmonica and you're in doubt of its quality, I don't blame you, but you don't necessarily need to take it to the stones and hone it. If you've got a decent diamond paste, then yeah, you can get away with it. Paddle strops do have their uses, and then give it a light or heavy stropping afterwards, and Bob's your uncle. Yeah, that's turned out to be a better than expected shade. I'm going to stick some of my favourite pomade, the Clubman. That's quite a nice one. This is the lemony zest. I'm going to stick a bit of that on and wake myself up. See if I can start the day properly. Yeah. So it's not a perfect shave, guys. I'm not kidding. It's not a perfect shave. However, it was a good test, I think. So late steel, a little bit doubtful. Early steel, very, very desirable. And that's it from me. So I hope you all have a wonderful holiday, and well, bank holiday in my case in England. And thanks very much for watching, and thanks for subscribing. See you all soon. Bye for now.